Awkward at heart, it doesn't take much for the INFJ to feel uncomfortable in social situations. However, despite feeling their everyday discomfort in playing human, there are certainly some moments that make the INFJ cringe beyond measure. Welcome or welcome back, psychos. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into the video, starting with Number 1. Being openly encouraged to come out of their shell. Large gatherings and parties have a special place in the INFJ's book of rather nots. Even when it comes to trying new things and stepping outside their comfort zones, most times an INFJ's willingness comes before anyone else's ability to push them beyond their limits. So, when someone feels compelled to encourage the INFJ directly with uplifting and motivating words, this personality type can feel an overwhelming sense of awkward reluctance. Simple phrases such as "loosen up" or "come on, you only live once" can actually set the INFJ back more than it propels them forward. And sometimes, their less than impressed reactions and aloof responses can cause some seriously awkward encounters. Not to mention further hesitation of the INFJ to put themselves in a similar position again. Number 2. Panicking when they feel others are watching. Making mistakes on the first day on the job, giving a new sport a go, or accidentally spilling your drink at a restaurant. Human errors and first tries can be awkward for anyone. However, most people are able to laugh it off and let it go. For the INFJ, who can easily get stuck on their witnessed mistakes, these simple everyday situations can be seriously awkward depending on the severity. In fact, it doesn't even take an error on their part to feel the awkward panic that comes with somebody watching them. Using parallel parking as an example, this awkwardness can be so distracting due to their extroverted feeling and sensing functions tuning into what others could be thinking that it actually causes the INFJ to slip up. This is why they work best when on their own with a set of expectations, rather than being guided step by step during the process. Which brings us to our next point. Number 3. Second-hand embarrassment. Staying on the topic of extroverted feeling and sensing, the INFJ can end up taking on the embarrassment of others to a painful extent. While these everyday human errors can be brushed off by others, sometimes the INFJ can't help but to tune into just how someone else's observed mistake is affecting them in the moment. If it's bad enough, this empathetic type can even end up feeling the physical effects of someone else's embarrassment. For example, if they were to see someone trip and fall while walking in front of a crowd, an INFJ might actually get hot in the face, feel queasy, or begin sweating and fidgeting. The humiliation factor can make this second-hand embarrassment inevitable, even when the INFJ doesn't know the person and even when nobody else really noticed the error. The most ironic aspect of this vicarious embarrassment is that INFJs can feel intense awkwardness even when the other individual doesn't realize they're embarrassing themselves. In fact, that type of situation can be the most difficult of all. Number 4. Not knowing what advice to give. With the hopes of maintaining a certain level of balance and empathy within every conversation they have, the INFJ is usually a great person to vent to. Known as the confidant or counselor of the MBTI, it's in their very nature to provide accurate and helpful advice that suits the specific situation that their fellow friend, partner, or acquaintance is going through. However, with the reputation they create for themselves and oftentimes the dependence that people put on them, it can be rather awkward when they don't have any suggestions. Now, there's 2 scenarios that can often be the culprits. On one hand, sometimes the INFJ genuinely can't conclude what they would do in someone's situation, and so they try their best to just offer the emotional support needed without opening up a discussion. Yet, on the other hand, INFJs can get stuck deciphering if their advice is worth giving. In these specific scenarios, it's not that they don't feel confident in their guidance, rather, it's that there's no way to dish it other than in the form of blunt honesty or tough love. These are the most awkward circumstances, as they have to pretend as if they're just as confused as the one seeking their help, when in reality, they know exactly what to suggest. Number 5. Playing nice when they know they should be more stern. Speaking of tough love, when someone does an INFJ wrong, sometimes this conflict avoidant type finds it too awkward to stand up for themselves. It's not that they don't have the confidence or the willpower to do it, but rather, in the moment it can seem out of character for them, even if it's totally called for. This can be a situation as simple as receiving a passive-aggressive comment from a coworker and letting it slide with a smile and a nod. Or something a little more serious, like running into an ex-partner that mistreated them in the past. In this example, despite the INFJ creating strong boundaries around their emotions in the past and swearing they would never let their guard down, they find themselves asking how they've been and wishing them all the best. No matter the scenario, when INFJs are caught in the moment, their extroverted feeling function can take the place of their authenticity in subconscious hopes of keeping the situation at ease. And of course, in hopes of not making things any more awkward than they already are. Number 6. Drifting off into introverted intuitive land. Introverted intuition is both brilliant and distracting, and for the INFJ, who is guided by this primary cognitive function, they know firsthand just how awkward it can make certain situations. One of the worst has to be the deflective habit of tuning into this imaginative and internal world at the least appropriate of times, whether it be during times of requiring their normally highly attuned listening skills or when their external concentration is needed. Sometimes drifting off into their fantasy world can cause some seriously awkward scenarios. In fact, not only can this make situations rather awkward, but it can also call for the INFJ to miss out on crucial information. The most inconvenient of situations is when they get distracted while in the middle of a conversation because they're too busy searching for solutions within their minds. They may get stuck on a problem being presented through support-seeking conversation and begin ruminating on it before the other person has had a chance to finish. And although it may not be totally obvious from the outside, INFJs can be in a serious train of thought, and when asked a follow-up question, they may be dumbfounded for an answer. Number 7. Becoming emotional or emotionless at the wrong times. The INFJ's secondary cognitive function, extroverted feeling, can certainly throw people for a loop, including the INFJ themselves. This cognitive function that is heavily relied on in most emotion situations is fixed to allow this personality type to absorb and experience outer emotions as their own. While this can be seen as an empathetic superpower in some ways, sometimes feeling the emotions of others as their primary emotional complex can be rather confusing, and even awkward in some cases. In one way, INFJs can be caught being overly emotional when listening to stories, watching movies, or witnessing other people going through emotional experiences. An example would be tearing up during a heart-wrenching movie, and then noticing that no one else is affected. On the other hand, when INFJs are expected to show emotions for their own circumstances, they usually come across as quite blank-faced and unaffected. There isn't one situation more awkward than the other, both being even embarrassing in their own ways. Number 8. When a close friend invites someone they're not close with. With a strong preference for smaller gatherings and more specifically one-on-one hangouts, the private INFJ type can only be their true selves when they feel comfortable. So, there's nothing that makes them feel more awkward than when they think they're hanging out with a close friend where they can let loose and show their true colors, only to find out that they've brought another friend along. In fact, despite the fact that they're usually open to meeting other people, this type of situation can cause the INFJ to go from bubbly, silly and excited to mellow, reserved and observant in the matter of seconds. And unfortunately, they're not the only ones to feel or notice this shift in personality. Their close friend who knows the INFJ for who they really are may even question why they're making things more awkward, when in reality, they have no choice but to sit back and analyze, even if it means they're acting aloof. Well, psychos, that's it for today. So what makes you feel unbearably awkward as an INFJ? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, And also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.